Hey y'all, welcome back to the High Key Polish YouTube channel. Before we jump into everything, help your girl out and subscribe to this channel. I am trying to get to 250 subscribers by the end of the year. So, it sounds like a lot, but we can do this, y'all. We can do this. Also, like, share, comment, all those great things to this video. Thank you. Okay, so let's jump into it. This is an underarm wax video in real time. I did speed up the ending of it, but for the most part, this video was in real time. I was using witch hazel. I always use witch hazel to do my pre-cleansing. Sometimes I use the oil for a pre-cleanse, but for the most part, I'm using witch hazel, and that's for any body part that I'm waxing. I just feel like it helps the wax perform better. This is just my opinion. This is also just how I do things. You do not have to wax how I'm waxing. I'm just simply showing y'all, I guess, for educational purposes, but more so just showing y'all how I do things. What you saw also just now was my client grabbing her breast because I asked her to hold it because they were in the way. They're a little bigger. Do not be scared to ask your clients to, hold their breast if they're bigger. If it's going to help get the skin more taut, which is making the skin tight, nice and smooth, ask them to hold it. And also, don't be like me and get powder all over the place. As you can see, I did clean it up. One thing I'm going to always do is clean it up, but don't get powder all over the place. Don't be like me. Okay, so, yeah. So, as you can see, the consistency is really good on this. You do not want to have the wax dripping off of the wax stick. Typically, and just from my experience, like I said, I'm just showing y'all how I do things and all that good stuff. But typically, when the wax is dripping off the stick, that means the wax is too hot. And one thing you don't want to do is burn a client. They're already going to be on edge because they know you're about to pull the wax strip off, which is going to be more painful and uncomfortable than they would like it to be. Unless they have a high pain tolerance, then of course, they wouldn't bother them. But you don't want to make them any more uncomfortable than what they already are going to be, especially if they're a first-time waxer. So always check that temperature. Make sure your wax is at a good consistency before you put it on the skin. If it's dripping off, it's probably too hot, and that's going to be really uncomfortable. So yeah, what I'm doing here is waiting for the wax to harden up. You'll see me apply pressure and tapping it and stuff. That's just me applying pressure so that it can harden and absorb the heat faster, so we can go ahead and get the wax off. As you can see, I'm holding the skin taut, and you can see, can see my client. Yep, you can see her still holding her breast. Do not be scared to ask your clients to help. And even with like a Brazilian wax, any type of waxing, do not be scared to ask them to help. Ask them to hold their stomach. Ask them to, hold your leg this way, hold your breast, do this, do that, because it's going to help the waxing go smoother. Now, obviously, you want to have a professional, demeanor when you say it. But yeah. And as you can see, that good old wax strip that we just showed, that I just showed, but you saw that good old wax strip and it had all the roots intact. That's what you want. You do not want to break the hairs. You want to pull the wax strip and make sure you're getting the hairs by the root, because that's the gold in waxing. When you're pulling it out by the root, is nothing there to instantly grow back. And that's why when you shave, you're prickly the next day, because you just cut off the top part and the root's still there and it's going to grow. So, it's always satisfying to see that piece of wax with the hair bulbs and roots on it and stuff. So this underarm was pretty decent. This is the second strip that I'm doing, and I only do 2 strips on this underarm. So typically most of my underarm waxes are only 2 strips. If you want to do very small strips, then it might take you more. But as I said, this is just how I do it. You do not have to do your underarm waxes in 2 strips. You can do them in 1 if you want. You can do them in 8. You do it however you need to get it done, but also keep in mind the comfort level of the client. And when waxing, as far as how many strips, also pay attention to how anxious your client is. You have a first time waxing client and they seem very antsy and anxious, they jumping and stuff. Don't put 10 million wax strips on them. That's going to be so torturous for them. Try to get it over with as quick as possible. The product I just showed was the GG wax off, and I will say I do usually use Ital. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's spelled Ital. I usually use their lemongrass oil after wax oil, and it's my fave. It's my go-to. I ran out of that though, and I had to go to Cosmoprof, and this is what they had. So this was my first time using it, and it did the job decently. I do like that glaze that the oil gives more so than this. This was more like a lotiony, creamy type thing versus oil. So I do like the oil better for that aspect of it. But it still got the wax, like the little wax particles off. It still got that off. So it did the job I needed to do. And that's pretty much it. She now has a hairless underarm. We're going to move on to the next one. But the next one is out of frame a little bit, as you can see. So I do speed this one up a tad bit, and I don't really show everything. I do skip certain little parts and stuff. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm going to end my commentary here. I'm going to let you watch me do the same exact steps. So we're going to cleanse with the witch hazel, put the powder on there, and then lay the wax. And then we're going to cleanse with the wax off at the end. Same steps we did on the other underarm. But yeah, like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, message me, follow me on Instagram also at HighKeyPolish. You can DM me questions you might have there, and hope to see you at the next video. Bye.